Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I have invented the 5. No, it's 10. 10-minute meeting. It's not getting old, is it? Yeah, kind of is. Okay. Ashland City Council meeting of June 3rd. Mayor's announcement. She says proclamation Flag Day. Whereas, June 14th is Flag Day. Contemplate the flag peacefully. And a remembrance of Mayor John Stromberg, who passed. A moment of silence. Very nice. And then consent agenda. This one says, I pull item D. And this guy goes, I pull item C. And all others are approved, which include a $1.43 a month garbage fee increase and $100,000 in tourism money that they just give to OSF for OSF tourism, which is better advertising than Ashland tourism advertising. Unfortunately, that is true. And for some reason, those 2 pulled consent agenda items are going to be discussed later. Usually they talk about them right now. They're like, we're going to talk about them later in the meeting for whatever reason. And then the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife guy, he shows up and says, Bear Creek has maintained its fish population over the years, and Ashland's wastewater treatment plant helped a lot with that. And the steelhead and Ashland Creek are hanging in there, and Ashland regulations can help riparian landscapes grow and keep creeks cool. And there was public forum just for this guy. He gets his own crew. And they all said, the young beard guy says, I live near Bear Creek and I'm pro riparian landscape. And a fly fisher guy came up and said, fishermen support this ODFW guy. And a rogue water lady said, all feeder creeks to Bear Creek affect the fish habitat. That's all great, and nothing happened with that. There's just a nice thing to talk about. And then a regular public forum happened, and the old former naked counselor said, I am sorry for my comments last meeting, but getting called a racist was triggering, and I grew up in a black neighborhood with black friends, just FYI. All right. And then the budget adoption. Assistant city manager was in charge today, and she says it's Jordan Rooklyn, and she says, here's the budget. And then this guy goes, hey, it's a little different than the Citizens Budget Committee approved budget. And Finance Director Marion Berry, she says, well, the $240,000 for the child care you guys added, just so you know, that $100,000 is actually paying for that. It's coming from some homeless money somehow. And the $1.4 million from the $5 park fee is added to this budget as well. So it's a little different there. And then there was public forum on that. And it was 5G guy. Spoiler alert, he hates the ambulance fee. And then this guy goes, I move to approve this budget. Such a great budget. And then this guy goes, I just want to FYI everybody, tell everyone, clarify. Also, the $100,000 that we took from some homeless account, we're probably going to pay that back in a couple of years. So you know, it's not just... It's probably going to pay that back in some way. And this one goes, I don't support the budget. All these fees, the water fee, the ambulance fee, the parks fee, a wildfire fee, they pile up super quick. And it's true that is true. And they're relatively quick. And she goes, and it isn't kosher. And telling citizens that the $75 million loan for the water treatment plant was necessary, or else our water would be filled with deer carcasses and bear feces. Was straight up scare tactic. And that's probably true too. Budget passed 4-1, and then there were 3 following financing ordinance for the budget, from what I could tell, and that was all approved. And then the recreation immunity ordinance, and city attorney Johan Patella says state law that gives landowners immunity if people cross their property and fall down. Well, small cities need to opt into that state law. So Ashland is opting in. So that's what this is. And I'll approve that. They love that. And then the economic opportunities analysis. It was done by Brandon Goldman, our planning department guy. He goes, this document supports statewide planning goals. And then an economic opportunity consultant showed up and he said, here are 4 boring things and obvious stats. And it was nap time. I drooled a little bit. 20 minutes later, I wake up. He's in the middle of a list of 6 new boring things. And that went along. This guy goes, so, what do we do with this report thing now? And assistant city manager, just full of positivity. She goes, we make an action plan based on all this action data. And FYI, she adds, the fastest growing job sectors in Ashland? Amazon delivery drivers and wildland fire thinners. I mean, I found that fascinating. I thought, oh, you're going to follow up with a lot of questions about it. That's fast, interesting. Where do you get that stat? Is that true? What was it? What is it? Anybody curious about that? Nobody? They just looked at her and went, okay, and that's okay. All approved. This about what was it? Wait, what are we approving? Oh yeah, it was the economic analysis thing I fell asleep for. And then the climate friendly overlay second reading. Brandon Goldman's again. Here he goes. It's the second reading, so it's the 6-story apartments can be built all over the place, and downtown stores can be turned into apartments. Ordinance, that's this ordinance, and it seems crazy and like no one will do this, but everybody loved it and they thought it was going to be transformative for the future, but also it might not be. And then approved, and then a utility assistance program. City Attorney Marion Barry, she goes, hey. Water, electric, and sewer assistance has changed somehow. I don't know what she said. And it was last updated in 1992. So I'm guessing it's more of a year-round assistance for utilities for lower incomes. But there's a new income rate of some sort that's fairer. And it's up to $400 a year for per household. And that was approved, I think. And then consent agenda. All that stuff that they skipped earlier. This one says, so the ambulance fee. Is this paying for overtime or what? What is this ambulance fee for? And Marion Barry, she goes, oh, it's covering overtime and the new communication system. And she goes, so does this covering new hires? Do we hire new people because of this? And fire chief, new interim fire chief, Marshall Razor. I say he looks like Colossus because he's large and silvery. He says. He goes, oh, I mean, well, we need minimum staffing, of course, and the numbers are, very important, and blah, 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 talk. And yes, we did hire more people. And so then she goes, so how many people do we have total on staff there of the fire department? He goes, well, shift 1 is 8 people, and 10 double shifts we do with a single shift, or 2 persons, and 3 shifts, and 30 people. We have 30 people on staff over there. And that was all approved. And then a consent agenda number 2 item. Where's this guy? He goes, hey, just to be clear, water is important and the rates are fair, right? These new water fee rates are fair. And Scott Fleury, he's got a giant beard. He's got to be right here. Here he is. Scott Fleury. Here he is. Public Works guy. He goes, yeah, super fair. He goes, percentage rates and the state law, and otherwise it's so high. And then this one goes, so I just this version of rates isn't consistent with our community values, water conservation values that are more important than citizens being able to afford water. That's my theory, and the math is wrong. Like I said last meeting, his math is wrong, and it passed 3-2 because he hated it because of the wrong version, and she hates fees in general. But the other 3 were like, yeah, these are good numbers, whatever they were. And then the new counselor election, and John Johan, our new city attorney, says, so anyone who receives 3 votes in the first round immediately wins. If not, it goes to a shootout. And the winner was Derek Sherrill. Yeah, everyone looked around the room like, Derek Sherrill. And a couple people were like, oh, yeah, he's very good. And then he looked around, he's in the corner. That's Derek Sherrill right there. This is a new counselor. That's what it looks like. Get him. I'm kidding. He's probably a good guy. I met him once. He seemed pretty nice. So, new guy. And the city manager's report. Assistant city manager Jordan Rooklyn. No report. And then this one goes, Juneteenth, by the way. June 10th is a Juneteenth flag day at SOU, and June 20th is base Juneteenth celebration, and June 22nd is a plaque for Juneteenth at the railroad park, and so we should do all that. FYI, June 19th, no one mentioned it, is Juneteenth. It's just nobody said it because apparently they're not doing anything on the day. So I'm just saying, it seemed odd nobody mentioned that was the day. And then this way he goes, where did he go? He goes, oh man, he loves Airport Day. I love Airport Day. It's coming this Saturday from 8 to 3. Go to Ashland Airport and look at planes. And that was yesterday. Sorry, it's late. Sorry about that. But if you saw planes yesterday and you're like, "Oh, how are these planes here?" It's this guy's fault. I mean, they're cool planes. They were actually pretty cool. And that's it. End of meeting. You're welcome.